Mr. Narendra Murdeshwar has worked across manufacturing, pharma, tech, even poultry farm. Yes, floriculture, helping companies rethink the way they work. He has saved time, boosted productivity, and trained over 1,500 people along the way.
Well as people management, I was handling an entire shop floor. So that was where I came across these concepts of business excellence and Toyota production system and lean management, which are being used across the world. And fortunately for me, we were selected by the management as a train the trainer.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to FaceTime with Leaders by Directors Institute, World Development Corporation, the podcast where we sit down with the minds that move industries. Today's guest is someone who doesn't just fix problems, he builds better systems, smarter teams, and stronger businesses. With over 15 years in transformation and consulting, Mr. Narendra Murdeshwar has worked across manufacturing, pharma, tech, even poultry farm, yes, floriculture, helping companies rethink the way they work. He has saved time, boosted productivity, and trained over 1,500 people along the way. Mr. Narendra, thank you for joining us. Let's dive in.
Good morning, Sunny. Thank you for having me on this podcast. And this platform created by World Development Corporation, it's a wonderful place for everyone to share their ideas and knowledge. So I think everyone can learn something from this podcast. Thanks again.
Absolutely. That is why we are here. So, from cutting project delays by 90% to setting up PMOs from scratch to managing large scale operations across continents, Mr. Narendra has done it all. So, if you are someone who is into system thinking, performance turnarounds, or just want to hear how real change actually happens on the ground, this one's for you. All right, so let's get started. So, Mr. Narendra, tell us, how did this all begin for you? What were some of the early experiences, turning points, or even challenges that shaped the way you think and lead today?
Actually, looking back from here, I think this has been somewhere there deep inside me right from the childhood days. Because even as a child, I had this habit of, I was a critic, and I had this habit of giving suggestions to people to improve things. And I think so it is there right from the childhood days. But career-wise, if I see, I think it started in my first job with Kennametal, and that was way back in 2002. And I was just fresh out of college, and it was a very good learning experience for me. And that was the first time I was in a practical manufacturing environment, because all these days we had been just reading books and studying. So it was the first interaction with people in a manufacturing firm. And the task given was also very challenging, both in terms of technical as well as people management. I was handling an entire shop floor. So that was where I came across these concepts of business excellence and Toyota production system and lean management, which are being used across the world. And fortunately for me, we were selected by the management as a train the trainer, part of the train the trainer program. So we had to receive the trainings and conduct the same for our shop floor people. And this is where I took liking for all these concepts, because they are easily transferable across industries. And if I have to quote some examples, even today, airlines, the retail industry, the Grand Prix, Formula F1, and even in India, we can see it across hospitals. The renowned cardiac surgeon, even Dr. Devi Shetty, uses these concepts. So that was where I took a liking for this business excellence and lean management systems. And I've been doing that in different roles, and finally, that was how I transitioned into the consulting and advisory roles also. So every small improvement that we make today goes a long way into delivering excellence.
That's such a grounded journey, Mr. Narendra. Really appreciate how honestly you walked us through that. You have clearly carried both structure and heart into every phase of your work.
Thank you.
So, continuing our conversation, speaking of impact, you led a turnaround where project delays dropped from over 100 days to just 15, from 100 to 15. That's huge. And I mean, behind numbers like that, there is always a story here: pressure, decisions, mindset shifts. So, I have to ask you, what did that kind of transformation really demand from you? Not just technically, but personally.
Yeah, I agree. It was one of the most challenging assignments of my career till date, because I knew what I was going in for. Uh, I was diving into a place where there were no systems, there was no actually the project management department itself was not there, and I was the first person assigned with the task of creating a PMO and setting up the project management systems. So more than the technical aspects, it was more of a change management where I had to convince people, and I had to, I mean, for everyone, I had to tell what was in the what are the benefits, what was the VFIM, what's in it for me, for them. So once people were convinced and they saw the bigger picture, then the change was easy. But the initial days, there were departmental silo workings, nobody talking to each other. Everyone was working on their own comfort zones. So it was a very big people management task, more than the technical aspects of it. But my first task was it was a firefighting situation. So my first task was to assess where we are, the current state, and based on urgencies and getting the delayed backlog orders first out of the facility. So that was my first task. And after that, I slowly studied the whole process, established systems, put standard operating procedures in place. And the management was also supportive, because now there was someone who could act as a single point of contact between the internal as well as the external stakeholders. So yes, I agree that this was a very big people management task, and I'm now I can fortunately I'm on the other side, and I can say that this was a good job done. And it also resulted in the organization turning around the projects faster, because earlier it took about more than 10 to 14 months to turn around a project, and as on today we are doing it about once in every 4 to 5 months. So I would say at least there is a 3x improvement in the turnaround times also.
It's truly incredible, Mr. Narendra. Hearing how much goes on behind a number like that really changes how we look at transformation work. And it makes me think, when you have worked with over 30 organizations and trained more than 1,500 professionals, like you did at Faber Infinite, it's easy to fall into patterns, but you clearly did not. So I'm curious to know, how do you keep your approach fresh, human, and genuinely relatable, even when every team, every industry, and every challenge is completely different?
My idea of training is that we have to get our message across. So the communication should be such that the participant should be able to understand what I'm conveying. It's not about just delivering some PowerPoint presentations which may not connect to the audience. So it's very important that we see how the participants find the content relevant, and we have to uh, tailor, customize, we have to tone down the content. And it's not only about the technical aspects, sometimes even the language barriers are also a challenge. So we have to keep all that in mind and try to be as simple and crisp as possible. So just to cite example from my first job, I was working with a team of people who spoke just Kannada, not even a second language. So the bigger task for me than learning the technical aspects was learning the language. So I had to do it, and I'm proud to say that I could learn that in 6 months. So that was a new language added. And then in my second role with Tata Motors in Pune, I found people who spoke just Marathi. So again, there was a challenge to learn Marathi. So which again I could pick up in within 5 to 6 months. So it's not only the technical aspects; the soft skills also matter. And the once the audience gets connected, then also we have to give them some examples, do some role plays, and conduct some activities, cite benchmarking examples from other industries. So then once the concept is, they are readily are able to understand the concept, then the change management becomes easy. So that is how I try to keep changing the flavor of my training program so that it connects.
That's such a powerful lens to bring into your work, Mr. Narendra. The way you have managed to stay authentic across such a wide variety of teams, honestly, that's not easy. That's not easy.
Thank you so much.
So it brings me to something deeper because your work hasn't just been about numbers. You have consistently talked about improving culture, building morale, and creating real ownership. So, how do you design transformation programs that go beyond dashboards, that don't just chase metrics, but actually shape a more motivated, connected, and resilient workplace?
Actually, transformational journeys are, like I said, more about the people management aspect, and the technical part always comes in later, and that is the, uh, easy to manage part of it. So here I would like to quote something from sports. We have all, most of us have watched the movie Chak De, where the main character of Mr. Shah Rukh Khan, he sets a clear goal for the team, and then everyone works on those lines. And whoever was not agreeing initially, he convinces them and brings them on board. So a similar thing happens in the transformational change management programs also. So communication is very important right from the start, from the top management till the freshest employee on the premises. We need to get everyone on board, and we need to communicate what we are going to do, where we are today, where we want to go, how we would be doing this, what will be the roadmap. So at different levels of the organization, people know that, okay, if I do this, this is the benefit which I'll be getting. So once that idea is, communicated across clearly, then the transformation journeys are relatively easy. I would not say there are no challenges, but stakeholder management is a very important uh, tool in this. So we need to have the right people informed and to the extent involved at the right times. So that is how it will be easy to transform.
Absolutely. Mr. Narendra, let me tell you, you really brought out how transformation isn't just about timelines and deliverables. It's about how people feel while doing the work.
Correct.
So, you have already led so many impactful transformations across industries. But is there a new horizon you are aiming for? Whether it's mentoring at scale, global consulting, or even stepping into boardroom leadership? What's that next chapter you are excited to shape?
Uh, I have started my journey from the shop floor, been in production, planning, worked as an internal consultant, external advisory consultant, and now into program management. So I feel the natural, logical thing for me to do is to move into some strategic role, like heading programs at a strategic level, or nowadays there is a lot of push for sustainability. So there's also a green project management initiative which people are taking. So it is a combination of different things which are happening along with the core project management, something on those lines. Plus, I have seen that if the projects and change management is driven from the top, it has more meaningful impacts. So I would naturally like to move into some board positions where there is a possibility to drive impactful change. So, and also about mentoring, I feel that the next generation should always be mentored, and it should be ready to take up the next roles, because the life of organization is always more than that of the people. And business continuity is a very important subject which is overlooked in many organizations. But just because one person is here today and not there tomorrow, the organization should not suffer. So mentoring is also a very important thing, which I would probably do as a part of my role. But my key focus would be on some strategic roles, and so I'm aiming for some board positions also.
That's such a thoughtful reflection, Mr. Narendra. It's inspiring to hear how you are still driven by curiosity and purpose, even after everything you have achieved so far.
Thanks.
So, given how deeply involved you have been in operational excellence and transformation, I'm curious to know, how has your exposure to ESG shaped the way you now view business and finance? Also, not just in terms of results, but in the responsibility leaders carry towards people, processes, and the planet. Has it changed how you approach your work or the kind of outcomes you now aim for?
Yes. Around 2 decades back, I would say ESG was it was there, but organizations were not practicing it consciously or actively, because it was more or less something optional. And there were a few firms who took on the responsibility and led the way, but it was more of an optional thing to do. But in recent times, looking at all the global warming, the water shortages, there are issues of some child labor being used somewhere. There are also some ethical malpractices happening. So, considering all these things in recent times, it is even more important that uh, the board and the organizations focus on ESG as a part of their strategic thought process. So ESG should form a part of the vision, mission statements. It should drive projects right from the organizational objective and goal level, and not just some small continuous improvement project which happens in a small part of the organization. Because going forward, the population are increasing everywhere, the resource usage is increasing everywhere. So if we want our future generations to be leading a happy life, I think it is our moral responsibility that we, work, every one of us, not just one organization, one person, every one of us has to do their part on ESG in some or the other way.
Rightly said, Mr. Narendra. In fact, you have brought a lot of clarity to how ESG isn't just a checklist; it's becoming a mindset now.
Right.
So, before we wrap up, Mr. Narendra, you have taken the step to join Directors Institute. What made you decide to come on board, and how has the start of that journey felt for you so far?
Like I said, the next roles I was aiming for was something in the boardroom. So I had enrolled with the Directors Institute for 2 programs. One was the digital director, because digital is there everywhere. We cannot say I will not be part of that journey or transformation. Digital is everywhere. So that was one of the programs. And second was the independent directors program, because that was something where right now today there is a shortage of independent directors in India. And going forward in next 2-3 years, a lot of positions will get created. And that was something where impactful change can also be done. And when I did my own research through various social media platforms and reviews and all, I found that Directors Institute was leading the way. So that was a natural choice for me. And the journey so far has been very good, because it was complete hand-holding right from day one. We were given the content, then LMS had very easy to understand, simple videos. Plus, the content did not demand that we have some prior knowledge of any subject, and it was only restricted to one particular stream or something. It was a industry neutral, transferable skills. So far it has been very good, and I'm planning to appear for the independent directors exam also in a few days of time. So let's see how it goes. So I would like to thank everyone at Directors Institute for guiding me and showing the way.
Wish you luck for your exam.
Thank you so much.
In fact, Mr. Narendra, it's great to hear how even in the early stages, the experience is already adding value.
Thanks so much.
All right. So, Mr. Narendra, thank you so much for joining us today. The clarity, depth, and honesty you brought to this conversation is exactly what we aim for on this show. From turning around complex operations to championing people-driven transformation, and now stepping into the governance space, your journey is a reminder that leadership isn't just about outcomes, it's about intent and evolution.
Thank you so much, Sunny, for having me here and giving me an opportunity to share my thoughts, my journey so far, and experiences. And wish Directors Institute and the entire team all the success, very best in future.
Thank you once again, Mr. Narendra, for joining us. And to our audience, we hope today's episode gave you not just insights, but perspective from someone who has walked the path and is still looking forward with purpose. We will be back soon with more stories from the boardroom and beyond. Until then, this is FaceTime with Leaders. Thank you for tuning in.